Nadia, can we have a roll call, please?
Yeah. Don Black,
Here.
Pat Darcy,
Here.
Karen Beatty,
Here.
Marshall Ballard,
Here.
Margie Dunn,
Here.
Travis Oakley,
Here.
Sonny Aluzo.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, I'd like to open up the meeting. We'll welcome everybody here. And as we were saying earlier, anybody who wants to do this meetings by telephone, please get back to the chairman, Jeff, or Jerry, and we can see what we can do for that. We are operating under the COVID guidances. We are wearing face masks, and we're doing social distancing as well. The first item of new business is a Sydes Construction and Thomas Engineering are requesting final subdivision plan approval for Bendigo Bay Phase 2, Section A at Bluewater Rise. It is a proposed 27-lot plan unit development PUD. This section of the multi-phase development is located on a combined approximately 16.49 acres in the residential R8 district. The site is located on the north side of County Line Road to the west of Old Airport Road in Ward 3. Consideration can we have staff review on that, please, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, I think, Mr. Chair, you've done a great job of outlining the details of the subdivision. Don't have much to add to it. It had its preliminary approval in 2017. Average lot size is 10,517 square feet for this planned unit development. We'll be adding 3,105 linear feet of streets to our public right-of-way system here in the city. We have 4 acres of open space, which is well beyond the requirement for open space for a PUD, and all utilities will be provided by the city of Newbern. Here's Old Airport Road, County Line Road. So this is where you come into the Bluewater Rise subdivision, and this project will be right here as it exists.
Will they be accessing that from the county line?
They will not. John, is this a do we have a temporary access here?
All the way to the right, between this subdivision and that one, goes out to the county line road.
That one right there?
And that's installed. That's in there now.
Okay. So we already have it.
Yeah, you see it roughed out right there where your arrow is.
Right there. Okay. Is that permanent, or was that temporary construction? Or
No, it's permanent.
It's permanent? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a permanent road
All right.
looking at this.
Goes right to dirt road, County Line Road.
I'm sorry.
Right through the dirt. County Line Road's not approved
We
yet.
paid to the pavement line that may be there someday.
Okay. Yep. Okay, good. Great question. A lot of questions on that. Well, the applicant's met all the requirements of 1579. That was our final subdivision section of our ordinance, and we have received the bond. The bond's been approved by Public Works, and the project is, we're recommending to approve the project.
Ann Scout.
Oh. Hey, Ann.
Hello.
Hello.
So we're just wrapping up the first item of this show. We've approved it, we've reviewed it, meets all the rules and requirements of the ordinance, and we are recommending the Planning and Zoning Board approve the Bendigo Bay at Bluewater Rise phase, which one?
2.
Phase 2, Section A subdivision. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the members of this board that would like to direct them either to the applicant or development services?
I just had one. What's going to be the finished size of this planned unit development?
I'm sorry, say again.
What size is it going to be when it's all said and done? Is it 1,000 houses, 800 houses?
I think the master plan that we had is probably around 900 total.
Okay.
Having heard no other questions, I would like to entertain a motion to adopt this item Is there a motion to adopt the item as presented?
I'll make a motion to,
So moved.
okay.
We have a motion, is it
Go ahead,
seconded?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those, we have a motion, the motion has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. The second item of new business is consideration of a request to amend section 15-79 major subdivision approval process of the City of Newbern Code of Ordinances. Mr. Ruggieri, can we have the staff review on this, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just some quick edits to 1579, the section that deals with the final subdivision approval. And they're right here in front of you. We, for a long time, have required 14 paper copies, which we don't require anymore, we don't need anymore, so oftentimes we'll get a lot of paper that we don't need. So 3 is good enough for us, so we're making that recommendation here on that section. We've also, to be in line with this commission's, this planning zoning board's desire to get information to them earlier than we have in the past, we've had to move our application submittal dates. We used to say 2 weeks prior to the meeting, now we have to push that to 3, which is what we've been doing anyways, right? So we just want to make our rules and regulations match our processes. And this is kind of a new one here. There is no requirement right now to submit all the bond information with your submittal package, which just lags us through the whole process until we can get that taken care of. It's always a question mark on whether everything's good. Bonds have to be approved by, they have to be reviewed and approved by Public Works. And sometimes they don't get to it immediately if we get it. So if we get it earlier, part of the entire submittal package, that will be everything that we need to review a final subdivision plan. We won't be asking for anything else. We ask for this stuff with the submittal. The applicants aren't required to give it to us at that time because it's not in the ordinance. So we're putting it in the ordinance as just part of our approval process, submittal process.
So you want to have it now?
Correct. Have it with the submittal. We usually get it a couple days after to a couple days before the meeting. It's just want to be consistent. We want to understand. Just want to get everything up front.
I was reading that online and I kept twisting my head like, what is he thinking?
Yeah, it's part of, we can't approve
Until we have,
until we have the bond, but it's not part of our submittal requirements.
and it doesn't make any,
Yeah, yeah.
would this make any undue encumbrance to the applicant?
It really shouldn't, no. We have an applicant here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would like to comment on it when I get the chance.
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Now, number one, would it be better if that were like a minimum 18 by 24? Because sometimes we use like a 24 by 36 sheet for a preliminary. Of course, the thing with the 18 by 24, lots of times if we're doing a big project to get the general plan approval, it'll cut up into 10 phases and they will come in on the 18 by 24s typically for a final plan.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a digital submission as well.
But I know that's progressing the final plat, but there's language in your ordinance that the final plat should be the same size sheet as the general plan or something like that, I think was in there. But I know that's kind of minor.
Yeah. I'll look for that language.
Yeah, and what you're doing, I'm all for. I mean, we very rarely do we have municipalities that go into now with the 14 days. Usually it's 3 weeks to 30 days now to submit stuff ahead of meetings because of how long it takes to get some stuff done. And on the performance bonds, it's been a hit and miss with the city of Newbern. We've had some good times and we've had some bad times in trying to do bonds, particularly when it comes to getting an estimate number approved, which Public Works approves that, and sometimes we have a disagreement on what that number should be. And we should be using market prices. and not something that the city had done or something that the developer had done, but whatever the market prices are for that particular item is what we should be using at that time. But the other problem we've run into is when it comes time, and I'm talking about particularly cash bonds. I have a client that writes a check, so that's cash, and I have a lot of them that do letters of credit, and very few do actually a performance bond. I do have some that do performance bonds. They're a lot easier to deal with on releases and stuff like that, but the cash, we generally provide an itemized statement of everything that's not completed in that subdivision, and we put a number by it, whether it be sub-base, or it be trees, or it be curb and gutter, or asphalt. And routinely with most of the municipalities I deal with, as those items are completed, we get that money released back. We've had a little bit of difficulty with that with the city, primarily because of differences of opinion, and what I'm suggesting is maybe we should figure out a better way to do it. I'd say about 70% of the jurisdictions I go into, they have what's called an agreement, a subdivision improvement performance guarantee agreement, and that's an agreement that's put together between the developer and the city at the time that the bond is presented. Okay, what that does, that pretty much ices everything the way the money flows. I've had them as thick as 20 pages, and I've had them as just one page, and this particular one I pulled out of Wake County is just 6 pages. But it is an agreement between the developer and the city on how that bond is supposed to be handled. And in that agreement, the estimate goes in there, but it also talks about the release of money. The reason I'm bringing this up now is if it's something that you might want to do or consider, this is the good time to do it, since you brought the performance bond stuff up into this particular item here. It might pay to maybe look into that sort of thing, and I'd be glad to participate in that and provide what documents y'all might want to look at to pursue that. I've had this discussion with Scott Davis several times, but he's probably as busy as I am. He forgets about things like this. And but I would think with the city and with their staff and everything, this would really be a good way to handle that, and that pretty much takes all the guesswork out of it when it comes down to releasing money for developments that go on. And there's a whole different array of them. You could take one and massage it to your particular needs and desires. And
the question I have for you, does that language present any undue encumbrance to you?
I'm sorry?
Does the language before you in item 3 have any undue language that would encumber you too much?
I'm not sure when you say 93, what are you talking about?
Line 3.
Line 3.
Yes,
Item
it's
3.
Line 3. Okay.
Item 3.
Oh, I don't have a problem with
Okay,
that.
okay, so-
I mean, I tell you, lots of times when there's some not very clear, we end up taking advantage of it. And what I'm saying to that is, yeah, my developer knows I can wait till 3 days before your meeting to be able to get all this stuff to you. So when you have something hard in your ordinance like that, I'm definitely all for it.
Okay.
Now, I'm saying that because sometimes when we submit the estimate 3 weeks ahead of time, it may be by the time we get to 3 or 4 days before the meeting, particularly in a case where the developer's writing a check for you, which is very easy to approve. We may have some of those improvements done, such as $150,000 worth of paving, okay? So there is a three-week window that some things may occur. Performance bonds and letters of credit generally take a little bit longer to get.
Yeah.
Some clients can get them the next day. Sometimes it takes a client 2 weeks to get one.
But what you're posing right now is immaterial to the matter at hand right now.
Right. Yeah, he knew that.
What this reads here, it says estimates for the performance guarantees. It doesn't say that the guarantee has to be presented at that time. And I think that's good. And the reason is because...
That gives you wiggle room.
Right, it gives me time. But it also gives you time to go to your public works folks and get the number approved with whoever needs to approve it throughout the city before we actually go to the bank and get a performance bond or
As
letter of
far as
credit.
I know, though, we can only approve a PUD when the legal department has seen valid performance bonds for any PUD
Right.
anyhow.
I think, one good thing here is if you're, like I said, if you're using a check, that's pretty much a no-brainer if you're writing a check. But if you're providing a performance bond and you're providing a letter of credit, what would be useful at this level here is submit that form.
The problem I'm having with you right now is you're making us try to determine legal questions that I don't think I'm qualified to answer. This is a matter before Scott Davis, our town attorney. But as long as you don't see any undue encumbrance here, that's the only thing I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any discussion about members of the board about this item?
Where, actually, number 3, where is that at on the sheets that was turned out to us before? Because I don't see number 3 on here at all.
It should be towards.
I mean, I see where we got the 14 to 3, I see where we striked out
That would be a package.
the final plat. But I don't
Should
see
be
number
one of the
3.
lost.
Was that, this is on the one that was sent out for the meeting we canceled?
Yes.
Okay, it's here then.
And then she just resent it again. Like earlier this week.
Oh, that
Did
was-
you send
that
that
was
back
the
again this
PowerPoint.
week?
She sent the PowerPoint this
That's what
morning.
that was? Okay.
Okay, Tom, she said.
Yeah.
It's on a memorandum. I
This is
think.
okay, section 1670.
And if this bullet points, only 3 bullet points, mine doesn't say 1,
In the
2,
land
3
use
like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but, yeah, I was looking at.
Did they give you a
Um,
book?
It
Oh, you're
is
looking
in
at that. Oh,
section
okay.
2. Section 2, item C, 3C. It says supplementary materials for final plat. All documents establishing compliance with section 15-59 regarding performance guarantees.
Okay.
What's your question, Margie?
Well, the language that was up there, I just didn't see that.
And you're,
And
oh, so you're
yeah.
looking in the,
The actual ordinance where we
Yeah.
striked out, we were adding in,
it's not
and
added.
I
in-
didn't see it in here. I mean, I see the other things in here, but I didn't see that.
You didn't see that.
But Nadia says it's there, so I'll take a
Well,
word for
yeah,
it.
why didn't that work?
And I think, yeah, 15-59 should already be. in
Yeah,
the
but she
code.
just doesn't say, she doesn't have the
On there.
underlying version in her packet.
I have the first 2 documents where we striked out the days, or
Yeah.
14 to 3. I have the strikeout of the final plan to the planning staff.
Is there a section 2 by any chance?
Section 1, section 2,
And point 3C.
3C. So that language he had up there, all that's on here is all documents establishing the compliance with section 15 through 59.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just.
Just that line.
Explained up on the PowerPoint a little more.
Okay.
That's not the
Okay.
same language.
Yeah, it's not,
Exact,
that's,
but it's
okay,
the same,
Yeah.
okay.
same. Yeah. Says the same thing without using the same exact words. And we probably should have used
Okay.
the same exact.
Okay, that's done.
Is there any further discussion on this agenda item number 2B?
Yeah. I think we may, well, we'll look into a little more about what John said about the minimum size. I get that.
Yeah.
So we'll look at that, and that language may change a little bit, but it'll still be the same intent. But that's it. So thank you. We already voted on it, right?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
Are you suggesting perhaps that you would like to table this for
No.
now?
No, sir.
You can bring it back if he needs to change it again and use our road.
No, we can add a little, I mean, we can
Okay.
change the name and the dollar, I mean, that's, it's not a substantive
Tweet.
change.
Okay.
If there is no further discussion on this matter, I would like to entertain a motion to approve item number 2, section B.
So moved.
We have a motion,
I'll second.
and the motion is seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Now we come to board member comments, and I've asked Director Ruggieri to give us an update on 2 very important projects that this board has been reviewed. One is going to be, of course, the redevelopment zone around the 5 Points. And the other is updates concerning West Craven, and I understand we have some very positive news about West Newbern, excuse me. Very positive news about West Newbern. Mr. Ruggieri, can you give us the press release on both?
Sure, I'll start with West Newbern, since I have that graphic up. I met with their engineers about 2 weeks ago, talking about some site-specific issues, but part of their simple package that they gave us to review kind of outlines the overall general plan for the area in the gray, and also what's colored is what's being built now. So you'll see that West Newbern Parkway, the main road in, there's been some clearing and grading here. These are multifamily. These are apartment complexes, over 200 units if I remember correctly. Of new apartments are going in across the street here. That's the new DMV. So we met with them about this parcel here and this parcel here. So these will be developed. This is looking like a big chain gas station type thing here. And this will be a health and wellness surgery center down here at the bottom. Also gave us some renderings of the apartments. So this is the West Newbern Parkway. Coming in, you would be looking here. So kind of look at what the look of the look and feel of the landscaping, which is being installed now, and the structures themselves. Little entry feature, West Newbern, and grass and trees.
Now, these apartments that are being, are these private?
Yeah, private Comet. I think the Comet Development is doing that. Yeah.
And these are apartments, these are not going to be co-ops or condominiums?
Apartments, yeah.
And these are rental properties?
Rental properties, yes, sir.
It's like Pringles.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, they haven't changed in 30 years what they look like.
Now, do these have to be built according to ADA?
There'll be a certain number of units that are ADA compliant, yes. Not every one of them.
So that means that they may or may not have elevators?
They'll have elevators, correct. They will have elevators, yeah. But as far as sink heights and doorknobs and widths of doors and everything.
But access would be ADA?
Yeah.
And one of the issues that was slowing this development up was there was a question about the soil capacity and whatnot for foundations of adequate strength to build such buildings. And that has been resolved now with the construction.
That area is up here, and I'm not sure if that's been resolved or not. They're looking to start construction here next spring.
And we were hoping for construction
this spring.
This spring, and obviously the COVID interfered with
And the soils,
and
yeah.
the soil issues.
Yeah, so that's that area here.
So are you guys talking about they were attempting to have the first houses for sale come December of this year? Is that?
No, these are not houses for sale, these are apartments. And is there an estimated time when the apartments are going to be able to be let?
We haven't issued the permit yet. We probably will be issuing it. Maybe we may have done it today or tomorrow or probably next week as we'll finally issue the permit. From there, you're probably looking at 12 to 18 months construction.
So maybe by next winter.
Maybe by next winter, yeah, maybe.
Where at 43 is this?
43, 70, 70,
To the right?
43.
I'm just trying to place on 43 where that is.
Margie. It's
You've done it
crazy
officially.
30.
But that, I look at that, I don't look at that as 43, I look at that as 70.
Well, this is 43 right here.
They're gonna build that road.
Yeah, I mean, the road's already there. Yeah.
Is it two roads running congruent? Is that what you mean?
Where? Two roads. Here?
Like what, when you make that turn to the right, from 70, it goes to the right, correct? I'm talking right now.
Right now, where you get off 70, which way are we going? This way? We're coming out of town?
Yeah.
We get off here, we go this way, you take a right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go right.
This is all, they're doing work. I mean, they cleared this up and graded it, so you can see them. I answered some questions about them planting and doing their landscaping stuff, so they may be in there doing that now.
Do you know what the impact to the assessables are for the city?
Oh, what do you mean, like
For
water?
what's being built? I'm talking about the impact of the tax base.
Oh, don't know that because it's changed so much.
Mhm.
Don't know. We did know at one point when it was a different design and scheme, but I don't. It'll be a lot. That's for sure. A lot.
And that's gonna be on a separate sewer system, water system there?
No, this is all city. This is all city.
Yeah, they're gonna have pump stations, I understand, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely have pump stations. Yeah. This will be a large lake that's dug out. It's not there, obviously, so it'll be a nice amenity.
The medical complex,
Yeah.
that's been approved, is good.
No.
But that's something that you expect to come shortly.
Correct. We were working on access and what it means because it doesn't. It's a lot of legal and planning terms and everything. But anyways, we're gonna work this out. So this is what that'll look like. It'll be a Xanis Renova spot
Ah,
with the lake behind it here.
mhm.
So we're looking here, looking over 70, back over the lake, rather large. What can't be that? 13,000 square foot building? Yeah, so rather large building.
Mhm.
And the aesthetics of it all. And then gas station. Not very exciting.
I hope it's sheets.
It's not sheets.
Oh.
Darn.
No, it's
Isn't that a sheet, what we just got in Newbern? Isn't that
No,
a sheet?
that's Circle K.
Circle
Circle
K.
K.
Yeah, I know. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the pump that you just showed on the, are they similar to the one on 3rd Avenue?
No,
Or they not? Oh, okay.
they might look the same.
Yeah, look, say like,
Probably look the same.
Okay.
They probably gonna be more like the ones behind what road?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't have. Where's our? When's the last time we did market rate multifamily in Newbern?
Wow.
I never. I know. So I'm not sure. We have one, maybe one.
Well, what is the, reserve, Cranberry Reserve?
I don't think that's market.
And on to the redevelopment.
So the redevelopment commission, just an update on what we're doing there. So the commission itself has been working on three different paths with subcommittees actively working within the group. One of the subcommittees is the Health and Wellness Committee. That committee has already put together a community-wide COVID presentation, essentially COVID in the community. Had speakers, had community activists, pastors, the director of Craven County Health Department, Carl Park, the chair of the Education Board, and some other health professionals that gave a Zoom presentation, essentially, for the community. It lasted about an hour long. Informational. That's been viewed over 3,500 times already online from our website. So that was really well. The next step, now they're looking at putting on essentially like a monthly series of health and wellness events. The next one is going to be coming up, and we have a meeting tomorrow to kind of lock down the date on that. And it'll be more of a not more physical health, but more of a mental health presentation. So those types of things, and dealing with the depression, the substance abuse,
and the mental health issues that go along with the COVID crisis. And then from there, there'll be more a series of events as we move on. The other committee is called the Neighborhood Committee. That committee is dealing with neighborhood cleanups, and we're partnering with the Public Works Department there. A few months ago, we did a large cleanup in the quadrant of from about Miller Street, which is on the east side, west side of Craven Terrace is Miller Street, goes up to Cedar, Cedar over to 3rd, all the way to Broad. So if you can picture that square in your head, Cedar is the top of Craven Terrace, Miller is the boundary, and then you go down to Broad. So it was a large area. It's probably 8 block, 6, 7, 8 block area. Organized the neighborhood cleanup there.
Any estimate of how many tons of trash were taken out?
So we had a large container. I don't know what term was it for, but it was big. It was big, and it was full. So it was full of a lot of like household items, old chairs, couches, broken dishwashers, things like that. There's a lot of in-yard waste and stuff like that. But we went through, did a neighborhood litter cleanup, and that's good. We should probably keep track of, maybe Matt has an idea of what that was. And then went through with the Public Works Department and trimmed back all the trees from power lines, cut overgrowth away from the right-of-way and along property lines. And
there was apparently a lot of community participation.
a lot of community participation, yeah. So due to COVID, we weren't, we didn't really advertise for community help, but the community came out when we were out there.
That's good.
And they've done a very good job of keeping it clean and mowed and maintained since we've left. So
That's good.
what we did was created kind of a neighborhood group there that we provided some supplies to, so they can keep up the work. They have gloves and big trash bags. I went and I bought a weed whacker off of Facebook Marketplace and just gave it to a fellow who wanted one, so he could keep, weed whacking around power poles and things like that. So those types of things are doing well. So that was a really big hit. Got rid of a lot of old dead trees that were in the right of way, right? That were just growing vines and stuff, and grinded those stumps down. So we had we had 24 people from Public Works there, and all in their heavy equipment, and clean that up. So we'll be doing that again now on the 25th of September on the other side of Craven Terrace from Reisenstein. I know it's changed its names halfway up, Aaron, but so from the other side of Craven Terrace, Cedar, all the way to George, down to Queen. So we'll be doing another cleanup there on the 25th. Not a lot of trash and litter type issues in that area, but some overgrowth. And there is some properties that have a lot of junk and debris that has been stored up. So we'll go in there and do that again on the 25th. We also have another committee called the Housing Committee. It's dealing with increasing the supply of safe and decent and energy efficient affordable housing in the community. We had a contract on the property at 1023 Pollock Street, the White House that's next to the church. It's next to Black Tire, across from the BLG building, the old BLG building. Yesterday the commission met due to a whole bunch of issues, mostly the increase in construction costs over the past 4 months, which is astronomical, over 100%. I'm sure you know Aaron, right? And so we decided not to move forward with purchasing that property. It's fine. And so we'll be looking at other properties to purchase and rehab and rent in the community. Right now we're actually looking at possibly, I've just started the investigation of moving the old Black Swan building. The city bought that property and tear that down. So I'm looking to see how much it would cost to move that building somewhere where we can utilize that for transitional housing and affordable living. So it's a very active, very involved commission in the community, doing great things for people that care about what they do, and it's really exciting to be a part of. It's really fun too from a planning perspective and being in this profession. That's the kind of stuff you really enjoy doing, and they're doing a great job of it. So,
have you experienced any interest from outside investors willing interested in possibly investing in the redevelopment of that zone?
No.
Okay.
The only people I've talked to, investors, or they are interested in utilizing the opportunity zone funding tool
And that's a
for the
federal-
for the days insight, which is out of the purview at this point of the commission. That's still solely in the hands of the Board of Aldermen. So that's the only thing big enough that would really be an investment. But you know, we knew that right when we started. The idea is to build up the community from the ground level to a point where we'll have outside investment interests, because no one's been interested in investing. I can't even think of the last new house that wasn't a Habitat house that was built.
It's like the thing says, build it and they will come.
That's what we're going for, build it and they will come, yes sir. There's a lot of private investment though going in. People there's a couple new businesses on Broad Street. There's two kind of construction company, rental property management companies that are going in and fixing up houses. So there's a lot of, from the inside, people are investing. We got a new store in the community, relatively new store.
What kind of store is that?
It's the convenience store, it's Dodge City
Okay.
Convenience. That's a couple of years old.
Okay.
The
But
Samson got it doing,
Samson's
we do
doing
have
a
a
barbecue,
place.
yeah, barbecue place. Yep, so we do have a lot of local investment, more so in the past year than I've seen in the last 7.5 years, I think, for sure.
Well, if you can provide us some periodic updates on each of these large areas, that would be
I
thankful.
will do that, thank you.
Are there any other members that wish to make comments or have questions? Again, I would like to say if anybody has suggestions about meeting us via telephone, that is fine. At this point, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
The motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.